All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are now going to get into talking about both Monday night games for tonight. We'll preview both of them. So we'll start off with the Dolphins and the Titans. So the Dolphins, they got their issues at quarterback. I mean, last week was not good. Was not great. Watching Skylar Thompson, who ended up getting hurt in the game. Now he's going to be the emergency quarterback tonight because the Dolphins are doing what I said they should do, as well as, some other. I'm sure other people are saying it as well. Is start Tyler Huntley, and that is what's going to happen tonight. Tyler Huntley will be getting the start for the Dolphins in this game, and they're 1-2. They could very easily be 0-3 like the Titans are, but they're 1-2, and this is a home game. And for the Titans, I mean, it's just been a frustrating year for them. I mean, the Titans could easily be 2-1. But, week one, they blow that big lead against the Bears where they were up 17-0. And then they probably could have beaten the Jets. But again, Will Levis turnovers, it just hasn't been great so far. And, both teams are desperate for a win. Now, when the line first opened, it was plus 6.5. Titans were getting, but now it's, the Dolphins are only a 2.5 point favorite now. And that's because of the injury to Tua. I do like the Dolphins in this game to win. I don't feel great about it. Now, if you do remember, because this is what this picture is from, and that's from the game last year where the Titans came back down by a couple of scores late, and they won that game and pulled off the upset. And that was the game that Tyreek Hill got hurt in. And yeah, the Titans, they pulled off an improbable comeback there, and they got the win. So can that happen again tonight? Now, in one of my fantasy leagues, again, it was not a great week in fantasy. I do have 7 wins right now in the spread pool, and I'll probably end up losing both of the games tonight like I did last week to keep me at 7, because that's just how this year has gone so far for me in the spread pool, is just 7. It was 7, or it's going to be 7 this week again. Last week I think I got 6, and then the first 2 weeks were 7, 7, 6, and probably 7 again. But that's just what happens. It's just a cap gets put on the amount of wins I can get each week in my spread pool. But anyways, so I do have the Dolphins tonight. Don't feel great about it. But in my fantasy league, one of the leagues that I could win, I have Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins starting because I have a lot of injuries right now. So I have both receivers for the Titans. They have to get a combined 10 points for me to win. So, one of them could get 0, the other could get like 12. All right, they should be able to do that, right? Like, Will Levis is not going to just throw the ball to Tyler Boyd and Okonkwo and dump it off to Pollard and Tajay Spears. DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley are going to, do something tonight, I would imagine. But I'm worried that they might not, because I could very easily lose this game. Like, I have a great chance to win it, but I also have a great chance to lose it. And I kind of got lucky because, again, this was not a good reason, but my friend was starting Anthony Richardson, and he got hurt. So if Anthony Richardson doesn't get hurt, I have no shot of winning this game, this matchup. But because of that happening, I have a chance. But I could very easily see both receivers having quiet days, and I end up losing. Now, DeAndre Hopkins had a touchdown last week. Ridley really didn't do much the week before that. DeAndre Hopkins has not really been playing a lot because he's still dealing with the knee injury. So they're trying to gradually, ease him into playing as the season goes along. So, whatever the case may be, I mean, both receivers are going to be out there tonight. I mean, I would imagine that at least one of them is going to catch a touchdown, I would hope. But Will Levis, I mean, the turnovers have been a problem. That's really been the issue for the Titans. These two teams have quarterback issues in different ways. One of the teams, the quarterback's hurt. The other, the quarterback just keeps turning the ball over. Now, Tua turned the ball over before he got hurt. He had 3 picks in the game against the Bills, but still, have more faith in Tua than I do, a healthy Tua, than I do Will Levis right now. And it's just Will Levis is trying to do too much. Like, against the Jets, he does a backward shuffle pass to Tajay Spears, who wasn't expecting that, and he ends up fumbling. And then, he tries to, flick it in game one to throw it away, and that ends up being a pick six, and the Titans end up losing the game. But, Will Levis will put together drives where you're like, that was impressive. So you see the talent is there. It's the consistency. Can he be more consistent? You have good weapons around you. You're trying to do too much. So we'll see what happens tonight. This is a winnable game for the Titans. It's a winnable game for both teams. I mean, even with the Dolphins starting Tyler Huntley as a backup quarterback, he is a Pro Bowler. Was a Pro Bowler a couple of years ago. So, however you want to interpret that, he was a Pro Bowler. So, you got to. This is a winnable game for both teams, and you got to get this offense going. You got the running game with Achane. I think we'll see if Mostert plays tonight. You got to get these weapons like Waddle and especially Tyreek Hill get it going here. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Dolphins, although I don't feel great about it. I mean, I think this game could be like, maybe a 20-17 game, something low scoring like that. But we'll see. We'll see. Can the Titans pull off another upset like last year? We'll see what happens. I mean, now there's no Tua. So now let's get into the other game, which it's always exciting when these two teams match up, and that's the Lions and the Seahawks. Seahawks are coming in at 3-0. Lions, they're 2-1. And the Seahawks, for some reason, excuse me, for some reason, they just own the Lions. These last few times that they've gone against the Lions, they've beaten them. Last two times in Detroit, these last 2 years, they've won. And it's been very high scoring. I'll see if I can look up the past matchups. Because last year was an overtime game. Tyler Lockett scored the game-winning touchdown in overtime. So I just want to go through the history. All right, so we're gonna look at the football database here. So these are the last several times that the Lions and Seahawks have matched up. So we'll go back to as far as 2018. So 2018, Seahawks won 28-14. 2022, well, this is the 2021-2022 season. Russell Wilson was still the quarterback. Seahawks won 51-29, so that was Jared Goff's first year as the Lions quarterback. Then, 2 years ago, Seahawks win in Detroit 48-45. And then last year, Seahawks win that game 37-31. Geno Smith is playing really well. I've been wrong about him so far because I don't know. I just maybe it's because I was way too high on Sam Howell, but I just thought that with the new head coach, I thought that maybe at some point Sam Howell was going to take over. But Geno Smith has played well. I mean, he only has 3 touchdowns and 3 picks, but the Seahawks are 3-0. And I mean, you can look at the opponents that the Seahawks have gone up against. They played against Bo Nix in his first career start. They played against the Patriots. And, they beat up on the Dolphins who had a backup quarterback. So, this is a true test for them. I mean, after this week, they take on the Giants. But then you got the 49ers. You're at the Falcons, home against the Bills, home against the Rams. You come after the bye week in Week 10. Week 11, you take on the 49ers, Cardinals, Jets, Cardinals again, Packers, Vikings, Bears, Rams. So, they got some tough games coming up on the schedule. So, and again, they're playing against a team that they own. Lions right now are 4-point favorites. And the Lions are still trying to, find some consistency because the offense hasn't been great. The defense has been solid, but the offense has not been great. Jared Goff has not gotten off to a great start. I mean, I'm assuming eventually he's going to get it going because there's too much talent on this team. And, it happens. I mean, guys get off to slow starts. I do think eventually he's going to get it going. And maybe it's this game. Seattle does have a good defense. Both teams have good defenses going into this game. Some guys might be banged up because, I was taking a look at the injury report beforehand. But yeah, let's kind of take a look at who's banged up going into this game. So the Seahawks are going to be without a couple of their offensive linemen in this game. They're going to be without Byron Murphy. in this game. He's out. Their defensive tackle. Leonard Williams actually is ruled out for this game, so that's a big loss there. Then for the Lions, Brian Branch, he's doubtful for the game against Seattle. Marcus Davenport, defensive end, he's on injured reserve. Derek Barnes, he's on injured reserve. His expected return is week 9. Also, Ragnow, their center, he's going to be out for this game, so that's a huge loss there. But I think also Alex Anzalone was questionable for this game, but I don't see him on the injury report. So it looks like he's going to play, and he's actually had a good year for them so far on defense. So I'm going to take the Lions in this game. Don't feel great about it because, again, Seattle plays them really well. They match up well against the Lions. But I think this is the game where the Lions are due, and they get the win here. I'm going to say they win. I'm going to say 27-21, I'm going to say is the final score. I've been kind of okay with guessing scores, but, I mean, which game was it? Oh, yeah, Jacksonville and the Bills. Yeah, that game, yeah, forget it. That was a horrible score prediction. But, yeah, I'll say 27-21, a little bit lower scoring as opposed to previous matchups, but we'll see. The Lions, they have a good 1-2 duo coming out of the backfield with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. And then, the Seahawks got a good duo themselves coming out of the backfield. Kenneth Walker is playing tonight, I believe, and Charbonnet has done well in his absence. And the Lions got to account for D.K.Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett. But the Seahawks, they're going to have their hands full with the duo of Gibbs and Montgomery, and I think Sam Laporta's playing. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jameson Williams has gotten off to a good start. So, but yeah, I mean, Lions are missing key guys on the offensive line as well as the Seahawks missing guys on the defensive line. So we'll see how this game unfolds, but should be a good game. Both games I think will be interesting, but more people are going to be focusing on Lions Seahawks. However, I'm going to be tuning in for Titans Dolphins at the same time because, for fantasy implications, I need Calvin Ridley and D-Hop to, get me to 10 points so I win my matchup and improve to 2-2 in my Dynasty League. Because right now in fantasy, it's not been great. I'm going to be, my best record is going to be 2-2. I'm 2-2 in a couple. I'm 1-3 in one, 0-4 in another, and then hopefully I'm 2-2 in the Dynasty League that I have a chance to win. So yeah, fantasy has not gotten off to a great start. A little worried with some of my teams, particularly my main league, which I'm 1-3 in right now, because that team has not gotten off to a great start. And I was a little worried about it going into the season, and then my worries have only been enhanced with how this season has gone so far. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, though, about the games for tonight. Who do you have winning? Let me know in the comments. And, yeah, with that, that is all the time that we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check out all the other shows on the network. Greatly appreciate your guys' viewership, like I always say. And, yeah, so until next time, I'm Kenneth Ruenfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day. Enjoy the games tonight. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.